te mai nei ki runga I te papa neke o a tātou tūpuna e. Nau mai rā ki runga I tēnei papa o Ngāti Wairere o Ngāti Haua e. Ko tēnei tā mātou e mihi atu ki a koutou e. I roto I tō koutou rā whakahirahira. I roto I tō koutou rā whakapōtaitanga e. Nau mai rā e, piki mai rā e, haere mai rā e. Kawea mai ngā mana o rātou, ngā wairu o rātou kua whetūrangi tia e. Kia mihia, kia tangihia, kia poroporo a kingia e. Ki te whetū hau, ki te rangi, te pohi o mā tātua e. Hoki wairua mai rā e. Anei mātou e mihi poroporo a ki nei ki a koe. Kia koutou kua huri ki te pōnei e. Haere atu rā e. Ko tēnei te wharewana no Waikato e mihi atu ki a koutou ngā whānau, ngā kārangatanga maha e kahaha pai nei I o tātou tauira kia eke ki te tikitanga o te mātauranga e. Tēnā rā koutou e. E rere ana ngā mihi ki a koutou tai atu ki te kāhui rangatira kei te atamira e. Tēnā rā koutou e. Nau mai, haere mai, rarau mai ki a koutou e tiwi e. Whakatau mai rā e.
mai te wāhinga ro te tamata wairua tapu rire. E te rangatira, ngā tirangi nui tauranga moana he mātiu, hoki wairua mai, hoki wairua mai, hoki wairua mai. He honore he karori ki te atua he maunga rongo ki runga i te mata o te whenua. Ko te tīmatanga o te whakaaro nui ke whakaaro pai ki te kingi Māori me ngā tāngata katoa. He hui hui mai nei i runga i te papa nui o te mana whenua o Ngāti Wairere. No reira e pā inu e tuane kia koe, ki hui hei hoi mana ki runga i a mātou. He hui nei raru te tua nui o tēnei papa. Kia tau ki runga i a tātou kia te whai o tō tātou ariki ai hukaraiti me te aroha te atua, me te whiwhinga tahitanga ki te wairua tapu. Āmene. E te tumu aki Right Honourable Jim Baldi, tēnā koe te rangatira. Te tumu whakarai Neil Quigley, me mihi kia koe katika. Me ngā rangatira kai āwhina o te whare wānanga o Waikato, tēnā koutou, ara tēnā tātou katoa. E ngā mana e ngā reo e ngā kārangaranga maha, o ngā maunga tapu, o ngā tōpito, o ngā hauewha, haere mai, haere mai, haere mai. Haere mai ki runga i te papa nui o Ngāti Wairere. Haere mai, me o tātou tini aitua o tātou mate, ke mihitia, ke tangihia, ke poroporo akitia. E ai te kōrero, he kure i tangihia he mai aroha. No reira ki ngā mate, haere koutou, haere atu rā, oki. Tātou ngā mahuetanga iho, ko tatu mai nei raro i te tuanui o tō tātou whare. Tēnā koutou, huri noa, tēnā tātou katoa, ka heke.
Tēnā koe e taki mo au mihi whakatau. E ngā waka, e ngā mana, e ngā reo, tēnā koutou. Tēnā koutou i roto i ngā whakamaimiti. Tēnā koutou i roto i ngā mihi ki a kingi tūheitia. Tēnā koutou katoa. Tainu i waka, Waikato awa, taupiri maunga. Tēnei te whare wānanga o Waikato e mihi nei. Koutou ngā karanga maha kua hare mai nei i runga i tēnei rangi whakahirahira. Ngā teuira, ngā mātua, ngā kaumātua, te whakamenenga, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now sing the national anthem. The words appear on page 52 of your program. The singing will be led by Blair White, a music performance student at the university. Would you please all stand?
Ai, oh,
seated. Good morning and welcome to this graduation ceremony for Te Kura ki te Aranui, the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, Te Pua Wānanga ki te Ao, the School of Māori and Pacific Development, and Te Raupapa, the Waikato Management School. My name is Neil Quigley, the Vice-Chancellor of the University of Waikato. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you this morning. I'd like to begin by thanking all of you, graduates, your family and friends, for taking the time to celebrate with the university staff and others from the Waikato community the important event that is your graduation. This is a time to reflect on the learning and the personal growth that you've achieved in completing your degree, to give thanks for the opportunity that you've had to meet with students from a diverse range of backgrounds and countries, and to spend time with the friends that you've made while studying here at the university. During the course of your study, you'll have acquired a perspective on the world that you could not easily have acquired through any means other than university study. I hope that for all of you, it is also true that you've completed your degree with both the critical thinking and the real world skills necessary to create a smooth transition into employment or further study. Many of you will have taken part in some community engagement program as part of your experience at the university, whether through volunteering, work placements and practicums, or summer scholarships. Our aim as a university is to substantially increase this level of engagement with the community. So please, once you're settled in employment, talk to us about ways that you can help provide internships or work placements for future students, and otherwise help promote your university locally as well as on the world stage. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now my pleasure to introduce the Chancellor of the university. The role of the Chancellor dates back to the founding of the first universities in the Middle Ages. Today, the Chancellor has the role of chairing the University Council, the governance body of the university. And in that capacity, it is his role to confer the degrees on all of the graduates of the university. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Chancellor of the University of Waikato, the Right Honourable James Bolger.
E nā rangatira, nā ka mātua, thank you ka mātua for your greetings this morning, nā kuia, nā waka mai taina kainau, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. To the many chiefs, the elders, there are many of us, the women, the waka and the home people, my greetings, my warm greetings to you all. Thank you for coming. I joined the Vice-Chancellor in thanking you for coming this morning to enjoy this extraordinary celebration. So a very warm welcome, but a special welcome to the graduates. Their special day, of course, but their families, their whānau, their friends, delighted that you're here. Because graduation's it's a formal ceremony, but it really recognises years of study, years of hard work, challenges overcome, disappointments put behind you and successes achieved. And today we all have the opportunity in sharing in that success when the capping ceremony takes place in a few moments' time. I want to acknowledge on the stage here, of course, the Vice-Chancellor of the University, Professor Neil Quigley, who has only been with us for about 14 months, and thank him for his leadership over that period. Also want to acknowledge the other deans who are on stage, the senior academic staff and the general staff who are with us here this morning. I do them morning and afternoon, you get confused. I want to acknowledge a very real supporter of our university, local MP David Bennett, who has been with us on 2 or 3 of the capping ceremonies so far. David, thank you for being with us. I want to also this morning to acknowledge a very special person in New Zealand, and that is Her Majesty the Queen on her 90th birthday. And I know New Zealand is slightly ahead of when it'll actually be in London, but it is Her Majesty's 90th birthday today, and She looks extraordinary, well, if I might say so. She makes me feel young, and that's a good thing to do. But I thought I'd tell you, and I thought of this while I was sitting down there thinking we are graduating from the Maori Pacific faculty today as well. One very unique connection here with the Tainui Waka. When we were negotiating the settlement of the Tainui claim those many years ago, in the middle of the 90s, our guest speaker was then an advisor to the then Prime Minister. Life goes around. And one of the issues was Tainui, I think the word is required, that an apology be received not from the Crown in the terms of the New Zealand government, but from Her Majesty in London. And I recall saying if Her Majesty had to individually apologise for all the sins of her predecessors, she would be an extraordinarily busy person. So what we did was to write a full apology into the Settlement Act, and then on Her Majesty's next visit to New Zealand, invite her to sign that special piece of legislation into law. So honour is served. The Tainui people, the Tainui Waka, have an Act of Parliament that has been signed into law by Her Majesty the Queen, so they have a signed apology, and the Queen honoured her undertaking. So it's just an interesting little bit of history attached to Her Majesty's birthday today. I've talked about a number of things on these capping ceremonies, but one of the things I have touched on, because I think it's so important, is values. You'll hear a lot about tertiary education in the next few weeks, months, because the Productivity Commission has been tasked with the responsibility of producing a report on, I guess, the effectiveness, the efficiency of the tertiary sector in New Zealand. And you all know in advance what it will say in general terms. It will say, are we getting enough value for the money that the taxpayer, the students, their families invest in tertiary education? And they'll probably suggest a whole range of things we should do better. But there's more in life than registering or measuring money. There was an article in the New Zealand Herald just a few weeks back which headlined "Big Bucks for the Right Graduates." And that showed very clearly that if money was the end goal of the students, then they all should study medicine, because that's where you made the big bucks, in the terminology of the article. But we know we can measure that. But my view, very strong view, is that measuring earnings is easy, but measuring value to the community you live in and are part of is much more difficult. But from my perspective, very much more important than that. I mean, we saw what happened recently with the release of the Panama Papers, 11.5 million. What happens when money is the only end point? You go to all sorts of extraordinary lengths to hide your wealth so you won't pay taxes on it. I consider that reprehensible. Total abdication of responsibility to your community, and I hope the laws are changed in the appropriate manner so that is prevented. What we need to do and emphasise and promote is that broader concept of value that can't be measured in dollars and cents or anything else. It's that intangible contribution to the society that these young graduates, and some perhaps not so young, will go out into. So let me conclude by saying, yes, there are some troubling and sombre issues out there in the world. We see the extraordinary tragedy of the refugees on our screens every night. The world headlines at the moment are not pretty. But to the graduates now, soon to be graduates, that will go out in the world, I urge you, despite that, to go forward full of confidence that you, individually and collectively, but individually can make a difference. Have that as your goal. That's the measure of a successful life. You've changed something for the better. That you'll leave a better community behind you when your turn comes to move to another place. So go forward with the words of George Bernard Shaw, who said them first, I think, as your guide. Dream of things that never were and say why not. Say why not. So dream big as you leave the university, or most of you will. Look at where you can contribute. Be confident. But all important, enjoy life. Have fun. I wish you well as you move from university study to the world beyond. I am sure, as a graduate of Waikato, you will succeed. You have my every best wish. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor. It's now my pleasure to introduce this morning's graduation speaker, Parekawhia McLean. Parekawhia is the CEO of Waikato Tainui Te Kauhanganui Limited and a distinguished alumna of the University of Waikato. She has more than 20 years' experience in public service in Wellington, where she worked in several government agencies and was strategic advisor to 3 New Zealand Prime Ministers, Jenny Shipley, Helen Clark, and of course our Chancellor, James Bolger. She has a Master of Social Sciences from the University of Waikato and an MA in Public Administration and Development Policy from the University of Wisconsin. In 2010, Parekawhia was appointed CEO of Waikato Tainui. She also oversees the Waikato Raupata Lands Trust and the Waikato Raupata River Trust, and in 2015 was a finalist in the Women of Influence Awards. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the podium Parekawhia McLean.
Tēnā tātou katoa e te pāpa taki, tēnei ka mihi, tēnei whakaro nui ki a koe tō mihi. E rauranga tirama, tēnā koutou katoa. Chancellor, Vice-Chancellor, members of the Council and faculties here today, ladies and gentlemen, and most importantly, our graduates and your whānau. I really do feel very honoured and privileged to be here to celebrate your very special day. A few years ago, in fact probably a few decades ago if I was honest, I was here at Te Whare Wānanga o Waikato as a student myself and my graduation. At that time, it was at the Founders Theatre. There is nothing more important to me than striving to be a good human being. When I was a child, I dreamt that one day I would grow up and win an Oscar for being a fabulous actor. I realised pretty quickly that being a shy child and teenager weren't quite the qualities that one needed to be a Hollywood star. Today, when I visit schools or speak with our young people, our rangatahi, I always tell them to have dreams, to believe in themselves, to never give up, and to aspire to be the best that they can be. These ideals were what I heard as I grew up and what I ascribed to as an adult. I have very fond memories of Waikato University. It is where I made lifelong friendships, learned to survive on very little, and when not studying, had a little fun, as I'm sure many of you have too. But it was also the beginning of my journey as a young adult. After I completed my first degree here, I went to Wellington and spent almost a few years building my public service career. And as mentioned, over the years, I've done some other study at the University of Wisconsin and also at Stanford University in the United States. When I think about education broadly, I believe that learning must never end. No matter how highly skilled one becomes, it is an individual's willingness to learn and be open to new things that matters. To stop learning is to stop growing, and when learning ceases, we are less equipped to deal with change. My journey would not have been possible without the support and guidance of many others. Most credit must go to my grandparents and parents who did not have the same opportunities that I have had. They were people who grew up in very humble circumstances here in the Waikato. They were not materially rich nor widely travelled. In fact, my parents very rarely left the Waikato. The only time they visited me in Wellington was to pick up their mokopuna, their granddaughter, and they never returned her for another 14 years. So she grew up here. However, what they did give me was even more valuable, and as our Chancellor has said, they instilled in me and my brothers and sisters the values of hard work, discipline, respect for others, and humility. Certainly over the years, these values have held me in good stead. Academically, I'm happy to admit that I was an average student, not particularly exceptional, but I got there really through hard work, discipline, and focus. My father was the same, as was my mother, who looked after all of us, 9 children. Good manners were very important to both my parents, and also respect for others. They certainly instilled that in us, but also in their own very special way, they made sure that all their children, and my nieces and nephew, mokopuna, know that we are from Waikato Tainui. As I look at the faces of our graduates, I am very excited by the future of our nation. Whether you know it or not, you all have the potential to be leaders. The fact that you are at this point in your journey speaks volumes about your commitment to improving yourself and, I believe, the lives of others. For some, your leadership potential may shine through in your own families, in your local community, amongst your iwi, at a national or international level. Leadership and leading the way requires courage, taking responsibility, being committed, and having a purpose in life that ultimately benefits others. As I reflect on my own iwi, on Waikato Tainui, I am reminded of the many outstanding leaders we have had over the years who are no longer amongst us, but closely associated with Waikato University. Many were recipients of the honorary doctorates, like the late Māori Queen Te Ariki Nui Te Atairangi Kāhu, Pei Te Hurinui Jones, Henare Tū Whāngai, Waia Mauri Ohoho, Tui Adams, Hare Puke, and of course Sir Robert Mahuta. To the graduates, I want to pay a special tribute to all your whānau who have stood by you during the struggle to study. They have offered advice from the sidelines to help you take up the challenge of new learning. They have believed in you and they have known you will make a difference. We owe them all our thanks for the faith they have shown in you and the support they have provided. You do have long and rewarding careers ahead of you. When students leave school, the comment is often made, "Go out and reach for the stars." I want to say instead, look around you, look inside you, look to each other and know that those stars are already dazzling us within your midst. Finally, as in closing, I can't help but reflect on the wisdom of Pōtatau Te Whirowhiro, our first Māori king, who said, "Ko tahi te koha o te nera, he kuhuna ai te miro mā, te miro pango, te miro whiro, I muri, kia mau ki te aroha, ki te ture, ki te whakapono. Through the eye of the needle, past the white threads, the black threads, and the red. Afterwards, looking to the past as you progress, hold firmly to your love, the law, and your faith." This tongi kura or statement inspires us to acknowledge our connections while being proud of our distinctive identities. It is a message of kotahitanga or unity, a message of manaakitanga to uplift or care for others, and also of rangatiratanga, determining our own destiny. That is the hope I have for all of us. Thank you all for letting me share this special day with you. Your graduation is indeed a distinguished landmark in your journey. Nō reira, he kōrero whakamutinga, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa.
Tēnā koe Parakawhia. The Chancellor will now officially confer the degrees and diplomas on the graduations here today, those listed in the program but not in attendance.
I, the Right Honourable James Bolger, Chancellor of the University of Waikato, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do now confer the following degrees and award the diplomas and certificates to those candidates here today and those listed in the program but not in attendance.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the candidates for the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Will the graduates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy please come forward? Claire Melody Brown. Dr. Brown's research focused on the interactions between humans and dogs during training, particularly the timing of positive reinforcement. She found that dog training will be more effective if people deliver awards to their dogs quickly, within 1 second, and if they use consistent body language during training. Chancellor, I present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Claire Melody Brown. John Otisi Kalu. Dr. Kalu investigated the protracted conflict over petroleum resource revenues that has posed socio-economic challenges and the threat of civil war in Nigeria. He identified the critical factors that limit federalism from resolving resource conflict and developed a novel model by which federalism could be used to strengthen and counteract those factors. Chancellor, I present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, John Otisi Kalu. Sheena Musa. Dr. Musa set out to understand the well-being of older people in the specific context of a small island developing state, with the Maldives as a case study. Her research demonstrated the importance of the capabilities framed by the collectivist social institutions and the geospatial characteristics of the island nation in determining the well-being of its older people. Chancellor, I present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Sheena Musa. Sean Thomas Nicholson. Dr. Nicholson examined digital technologies that display photos on maps and as layers in augmented reality software. His research identified a compelling distinction between complication and complexity to reveal how technologies such as iPhones, GPS and digital photos interoperate in complex or complicated forms of technology entanglement. Chancellor, I present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Sean Thomas Nicholson. Mark Samuel Smith. Dr. Smith's research addressed two interconnected questions. How have the organisations used their pasts, and what can this innovation, the learning history approach, bring to the historical discipline? He found organisational uses of history are strongly associated with the performance and maintenance of identity in those organisations. Chancellor, I present for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Mark Samuel Smith. Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the conferment of degrees and awarding of diplomas and certificates candidates from Te Kura Kete Aranui, the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences. This includes those candidates listed in the order of proceedings but not in attendance. The certificates will be presented by the Dean of the Faculty, Professor Robert Hanna.
Will the graduates for the degree of Master of Applied Psychology please come forward? Edward James Belbin. Sinead Candice Bicknell. Katrina Helen Clark. Rachel Young. Will the graduates for the degree of Master of Arts please come forward? Susanna Jane Bennett. Xuan Chen Yu. Han Tian Pan. Tidavade Dongdesri. Will the graduate for the degree of Master of Arts Applied please come forward? Gitika Samuel. Will the graduate for the degree of Master of Music please come forward? Also awarded Postgraduate Diploma in Music, Lauren Rebecca Grout. Will the graduates for the degree of Master of Social Sciences please come forward? Also awarded Postgraduate Diploma in Psychology, Clinical, Amanda Louise Drewer. Also awarded Postgraduate Diploma in Psychology, Clinical, Rebecca Shan Evans. Wanda Yeremia Allen. Laura Elizabeth Phillips. Will the graduates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts with Honours please come forward? Gemma Berry. Bianca Simon Laurie. Rebecca Ngaire Pei. Will the graduate for the degree of Bachelor of Music with Honours please come forward? Also conferred Bachelor of Music. Blair Elizabeth White. Will the graduates for the degree of Bachelor of Social Sciences with Honours please come forward? Hayley Marie Butterworth. Also conferred Bachelor of Social Sciences, Newbury Laurie James Edwardson. Jacqueline Barbara Fa'anunu. Also conferred Bachelor of Social Sciences, Moses Simpson. Madeline Brogger Stapleton. Jessica Ann Stedman. Will the graduates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please come forward? Katerina Jodine Barker. Chelsea Ann Bowden. Callum Robert Braithwaite. Samantha Heather Brill. Taylor Deanne Berry. Yon He Cha. Riley O'Neill Cochrane. Jacqueline Rose Dawson. Also awarded Graduate Certificate in Philosophy, Hannah Lee Dewhurst. Jessica Grace Adamson Dodunsky. Tony Lorraine Garson. Alicia Marie Gray. Emily Catherine Grover. Andrew William Hall. Lee Louise Hancock. Antoinette K. Hudson. Jessica Mary Hunt. Sam Alistair Jackson. Clark Isaac Jarrett. Louise Charlotte Sarah Kendall. Miranda Jean Evelyn Kiff. Wazy Kum Ki. Ashton Brooke Ledger. Shu Yao Ma. David John Maris. Caitlin Averill McFarlane. Isaac Peter Niven. Caitlin Grace Orton. Vanessa Perumal. Hannah Ann Plavinsky. Maya Kimiora Pratt. Patricia Louise Ramlows. Emily Ann Ray. Emma Louise Riley. Also conferred Bachelor of Teaching, Rebecca Lee Spies. Aaron James Kenneth Stewart. William Samuel Stiles. Also awarded Graduate Certificate in Human Development, Nicole Erica Stone. Miyako Takeuchi. Kelly Brooke Tanto. Fabian Julius Tiamana Tipene. Kelsey Toombs. Chelsea Lane Torrance. Jerome Logan Walker. Leanne Renee Warwick. Patricia Watson. Amelia Ellen Williams. Claudia Williams. Gen Zhao Zhang. Will the graduates for the degree of Bachelor of Environmental Planning please come forward? Tanya Leanne Bryant. Grace Joan Ruth Berman Buchan. Kyle Stephen Foley. Stephen Jesse Mark Gascoigne. Christina Jane Hanna. Rebecca Irene Harris. Nicholas Roy Law. Ashley Josephine Peters. Kent Michael Russell. Cosette Mia Seville. Annika Lucy Swanberg. Michaela Alexandra Dawn Woods. Will the graduates for the degree of Bachelor of Media and Creative Technologies please come forward? Thomas Leslie Bowden. Shay Irina Michelle Marie Capewell. Nikolai Mario Raymond Fernando. Daniel Warren Bromwell Gordon. Also conferred Bachelor of Communication Studies, Samuel David Marilich. Kate Rachel McGreedy. John Robert Ryan. Aidan James Savigne. Will the graduates for the degree of Bachelor of Music please come forward? Bridget Elise Belzat. Anne-Marie Ruth Bird. Also awarded Graduate Certificate in English, Emily Joyce Evers. Jonathan David Ears. Aidan Michael Fuller. Gwen Carlisle Lyon. Anna Rose Mann. Cecily Jane Shaw. Ui Jie Shin. Amy Louise Kate Thomas. Will the graduates for the degree of Bachelor of Social Sciences please come forward? Tracy Lynette Abbott. Lania Jane Kelly Adams. Neville Alai Malo. Michael Robert Atkin. Catherine Morea Babbitt. Jordana Marie Beerling. Katerina Miriam Jane Bissett. Danielle Botha. Daniel Sean Brown. Martina Evadina Brewer. Esther Louise Burnett. Norel Talina Cadman. Also conferred Bachelor of Teaching, Susan Emily Carswell. Paige Ruth Carter. Ariana Tiana May Clark. Danae Elizabeth Cooney. Zoe Margaret Creeker. Jade Curran. Lelinia de Castro Tillman. Amber Page Dempsey. Eve Lucy Downing. Also awarded Graduate Certificate in Labour Studies, Keegan Sean Hurd Doers. Casey Alexander Dunstan. Tony Marie Piata Emery. Gregory David Enderby. Paula Bridget Finlay Barr. Aaron Michael Garlick Wiki. Zoe Ann Gerund. Kyle Gordon Glessing. Oliver Thomas Hartley. Caitlin May Hazelhurst. Seamus Arthur Helms. Tuaine Tina Hill. Chun Yin Ho. Jason Ross Howarth. Catherine Elizabeth Jacobson. Anna Mae Johnston. Kayla Joubert. Satono Kawamata. Claire Elizabeth King. Leo Oliver Sewell King. Henrique Cruz de Lange. Aaron Benjamin Lanigan. Shannon Olivia Logerson. Jiok I Lim. O le natio le tuitonga lishna lima. Tak chung luk. Joshua William Ruakeri Mack. Chloe Rosalind Manktillo. Natalia Smarden Matthews. Ashley Sarah MacDonald. Nicola Margaret McClellan. Joseph Donald O'Dwyer. Carly Georgia Olsen Moore. Leah Parkinson. Sasha Tracy Rangi Whakaiwa Paulen. Hayley Lily Alicia Phillips. Nina Kitty Carols Phillips. Laura Susanna Phipps. Marista Pieters. Josephine Valerie Rawlinson. Chantel Janice Rewa Revel. Simon Elliott Paul Rayburn. Sophie Ellen Robinson. Also awarded Graduate Diploma in Spanish, Charlotte Rose Charlene Sanson. Renee Francis Shum. Courtney Jane Sinclair Eagle. Ashley Grace Ashton Smith. Monique Rebecca Smith. Paula Ngaidi Smith. Aaron John Smythe. Janet Louise Spencer. Nicholas David Stark. Alexander Swain. Se I tango, te manatunga, te ahienu. Cecilia Tomanico. Tanwin Roshlin Breen Ward. Melissa Louise Michelle Witten. Hamish Ryan White. Shui Young. Shu Chi Zhou. Yang Zhou. Will the graduate for the degree of Bachelor of Social Work please come forward? Also awarded Graduate Diploma in Psychology, Sukhjit Kaur Deo. Will the graduates for the degree of Bachelor of Tourism please come forward? Sweta Padarath. Also awarded Graduate Certificate in History, Brian John Winiata Ketting. Yinan Zhao. Will the graduate for a postgraduate diploma in music please come forward? Christina Antoinette Katrina Vehikite. Will the graduates for a postgraduate diploma in psychology please come forward? Himani Atreya. Medha Bhatta. Amanda Jane Buckley. Wing Yu Cheong. Gin Vern Jot. Hayley Ann Russell. Will the graduate for a postgraduate diploma in public policy please come forward? Kola Wale Ishola Fatukon. Will the graduates for a postgraduate diploma in second language teaching please come forward? Jiao Wu Liu. Rosanna Isabel Rea Gomez. Will the graduate for a graduate diploma in social policy please come forward? Shanza Naima Kofai Evanson. Will the graduate for a diploma in education please come forward? Anna Patricia McAllister. Chancellor.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the conferment of degrees and awarding of diplomas and certificates candidates from Te Pua Wānanga ki te ao, the School of Māori and Pacific Development. This includes those candidates listed in the order of proceedings but not in attendance. The certificates will be presented by the Dean of the Faculty, Professor Brendan Hokofitu.
Will the graduate for the degree of Bachelor of Arts please come forward? Emma Marie Ora Mai Whare Pauri. Will the graduate for a postgraduate diploma in development studies please come forward? Waleni Tony Whangumana Lolohia. Chancellor.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present for the conferment of degrees and awarding of diplomas and certificates candidates from Te Raupapa, Waikato Management School. This includes those candidates listed in the order of proceedings but not in attendance. The certificates will be presented by the Acting Dean of the Faculty, Professor Deborah Willis.
Will the graduate for the degree of Master of Electronic Commerce please come forward? Teng Lu. Will the graduate for the degree of Bachelor of Communication Studies with Honours please come forward? Patrick John Purcell. Will the graduate for the degree of Bachelor of Management Studies with Honours please come forward? Grace Maureen Everts. Will the graduates for the degree of Bachelor of Communication Studies please come forward? Michaela Grace Barker. Annie Catherine Charlotte Boshier. Gabrielle Kitty Marie Busby. Donovan Ridges Caithness. Sarah Rose Shell. Hayley Olga Thornton Crisp. Jules Bahumul Benachek Craft. Roxana Sindel Janet Jean Davies. Louis Henry Davis. Alex Jenna Dudley. Manette Duvenhaag. Emma Louise Edhouse. Also conferred Bachelor of Arts, Alex Marie Higby. Melissa Joan Hughes. Also conferred Bachelor of Arts, Alice Matilda Rose Kennedy. Christy Ann Lean. Carleen Elizabeth McGurr. Esther Margaret Menzies. Tiana Page Nepe. Shane Roberts. Tammy May Roberts. Josie Anna Robinson. Ashley K. Smith. Cameron James Smith. Sharon Louise Spears. Lauren June Sullivan. Ryan Paul Sullivan. Alexandra Josefa Tamblin. Christina Ann Tamblin. Queenie Tan Po Yen. Brianna Rose Catherine Toms. Also awarded Diploma in Social Sciences, Christy Lee Tucker. Rebecca Valerie Ann Wadsworth. Carl Friedrich Walter. Narissa Alice Whitford. Bradley Jaden Wiseman. Will the graduates for the degree of Bachelor of Electronic Commerce please come forward? Man Chen. Maria Eriza Dizon del Mundo. Yi Ming Hu. Danette Louise Jeffries. Amanda Amy Jenkins. Han Jiang. Matthew David Kenrick. Chun Wei Liu. Ying Rui Liu. Bradley James Mason. Saida Masuma Batul Mehdi. Dan Maldry. Shamita Paralath. Diana Desiree Rawari. Shan Sun. Matthew Albert Swinney. Wenbo Wong. Wong Yao. Zi Qiang Zhao. Haley Michelle Zimmerman. Will the graduates for the degree of Bachelor of Tourism please come forward? Carmen Maria Alvarado de Gordon. Laura Michelle Katharina Camphouse. Paxton Conda. Jing Dong. Hong Jin Gai. Taylor Lane Gallagher. Selena Ngahuya Golubiowski. Ahmed Mohammed Ibrahim. Pietri Olivia Jacobs. Vaughan Robert Johnston. Howlin Lee. Lena Maria Rada Ruiz. Bernadette Shakira Lyons Rodriguez. Alain Georges Guy Sabatier. Christine Sadlier. Tessa Kate Sowry. Matthew Scott Taylor. Belinda Tong Kam Chun. Analia Tainaupenga Tumotoa. Grace Clear Walker. Kai Lun Zhang. Jing Zhao. Chancellor.
As I haven't been up here very long, I thought I'd come back. I want to, on behalf of everybody, particularly the university staff here on stage, but on behalf of everybody, family, fun, our friends, to congratulate all those who have just graduated, just been capped in the ceremony that we have all enjoyed over the last hour and something or other, I'm not sure what. But well done again. Go out with confidence, as I said earlier, and as our guest speaker said, there's much to do in the world, but I'm sure you're able to do it. But really why I stood up, because I know you're very clever, but you didn't do it all by yourself. So I want you to stand. You can celebrate by holding your trenches in the air, but don't throw them. That's a high-risk strategy under the health and... We will let you drive a motor car afterwards. That's safe. That's quite safe. But throwing your trenches into the air, that's risky, so don't do that. But please stand, celebrate, and then thank all those who helped you get through your degrees. Please do that. Well done. Excellent. And I didn't see a single person hurt. That's tremendous. Very well done. I've got a couple of the small announcements. One is, you've now graduated. Many of you will be leaving the university, go to the world of work, as it's called. You weren't working before, I understand. Go to the world of work. But don't lose contact with your university. This is your university. Remain in contact. The Alumni Association is there ready to put you onto their web page or onto their email address or whatever. So please do that. That's one way of keeping in contact with many of your friends and so forth. There's one other small matter I'd like to mention. This is really on behalf of your parents and families. Would you please pay back the debts that you owe them? You know, the money now that you're going out to earn. Have a good day.
It's now my pleasure to introduce the student speaker for this morning's graduation ceremony. Te Davide Tongdesri has graduated today with a Master of Arts with First Class Honours. Originally from Thailand, Te Davide began studying at the University of Waikato when she was 16, after completing her Year 12 studies at Sacred Heart High School in Hamilton. Te Davide is an outstanding golfer and is in the top 1% of women golfers in New Zealand, having represented New Zealand at the Trans-Tasman Cup. She's currently studying for her PhD in political science and public policy, focusing on climate change and sustainable development in Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome to the podium to give the graduate address Te Davide Tongdestri.
Thank you to the Chancellor, the Right Honourable James Bolger, and Vice Chancellor Professor Neil Quigley for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the graduating class. It is indeed an privilege and honour. These words are not just the usual convention of a graduating speech, but they manifest the distinct aspects of my experience at Waikato over the last 5 years. These are being thankful, taking the opportunity, and being proud of your achievements. When you read a book, a report, a thesis, what do you usually see in the first few pages? The acknowledgements. Why does this matter? Because it is important. The acknowledgement section might initially seem like the simplest part, but when I was writing mine, I was overwhelmed by the difficulty in choosing a select few out of so many people to thank for their part in my final thesis. It allowed me to distance myself from the self-absorbing routine of the last 5 years and to truly reflect and be grateful for those that have helped me attend university at the age of 16 and to achieve my goal in completing my master's degree. Because today, I have made it. Surpassing the written limits of the acknowledgements, today I would like you, graduates, to take a moment to think about all the people that have been part of your journey. Your family, friends, mentors. Take this opportunity to thank them, not only for your success, but our success, especially the people up there on the grandstand that have to sit through 2 hours of more of the ceremony as they wait to congratulate you for your moment on stage. Without them, we would not be here today. This follows on to my next point, opportunity. You all chose Waikato for different reasons, whether you were fresh from high school, after your OE, or already in the workforce. But we all took the opportunity to attend this university. The classes you took, the subjects you studied, the degree you now graduate with. They may be restricted by the circumstances, but you all made the most of the opportunities you had been given. This has been the mindset that I have developed through the years at Waikato, and as a Sir Edmund Hillary Scholar, I took the opportunity to apply for the scholarship, the opportunity to participate in events, and the opportunity to be a leader in our communities. Of course, it is not a straightforward path. Opportunities are endless. And once you graduate from Waikato today, I urge you all to continue to use them. As Sir Edmund Hillary said, seize this chance. And this as I have done today. This comes to my last point. Be proud of your achievements. You have made it. Everyone is in the same position. We have our fears for the future, our careers, our financial security. That's all self-doubt. What we sometimes forget is knowing what we have learned and worked for the last 3, 6, maybe 9 years at Waikato is more than enough. So be proud of your abilities, your accomplishments, and take charge of it. Today, this ceremony reflects the 3 important lessons I have learned at Waikato. But let us remember that our accomplishments today come with the privilege of education. What we choose to do with our degrees matters. Each and every one of you are part of a larger society, and our decisions and actions, small or large, affects everyone. As you venture forward into the next chapter of your life, I urge you to make decisions and take actions with great considerations for your communities. For me, I chose to do a PhD. With this education, I have taken on a topic that is new to me, maybe to you, yet a real global threat to society: climate change. Some nations, like our fellow Pacific Islands, are already experiencing the adverse effects of climate change. The future impacts of climate change, however, will have implications for all nations. So just like what you choose to do with your degrees, while our decisions and actions may be one of many, they do matter, because we all contribute to the incremental changes that happen in our society. I would like to leave you all with this. Graduates, be confident, yet humble, modest, but proud. Congratulations, class of 2016.
Thank you to Davide, and thank you to all of the graduates, families, friends and supporters who've attended this graduation ceremony this morning. Today you've been admitted to the community of scholars at this university. Graduates, you have now completed your formal association with the University of Waikato as a student in your current degrees, but you are warmly welcomed to stay in touch with the university as members of our alumni community. The University of Waikato is a great university, ranked in the top 50 universities in the world, among those universities established since the 1960s. And through its staff, graduates and students, is having a huge impact on the economy and society of New Zealand and other countries. Throughout your further career or further study, you will meet many others who will proudly tell you that they also studied at the University of Waikato. We look forward to staying in touch with you and to hearing of your future success. Now, to close the ceremony, it's my pleasure to invite our kaumātua Taki Turner to offer a parapara aki. E koro nama haere.
E tumu aki the Right Honourable Jim Balti, tēnā kia koe. Te tumu whakarai e Neil, me mihi kia koe ka tika. E taku rangatira parekawhia, tēnā koe. Me ngā rangatira hoki o te whare wānanga o Waikato, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. E aku rangatira te taumata o ngā mātauranga ko heketia nei e koutou. He mihi kau ana, he mihi kau ana, he mihi kau ana. Nō reira e pā inu e tani kia koe manakitia mai rātou. I runga i ngā kaupapa kei mui o rātou aroaro. Tuko mai te manaki ki runga i te mininga ko taina i ki te rao ngā taumata. Nō reira inu e tani kia koe pā i runga i tō ingo kaha te tamata wairua tapu. Āmene. Kia ora tātou.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please all stand for the procession of university staff and graduates out of the auditorium.